Radio Nigeria network. Now on the news in detail. As Nigeria prepares for implementation of the new development levy, effective next year, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has called for stronger support and collaboration with the National Assembly to ensure that its 25% allocation is fully realized and effectively deployed. The recently approved National Taxation Act NTA 2025 introduces a 4% development levy on the assessable profits of taxable companies, excluding small and non-resident companies, as well as profits from hydrocarbon tax. Under this framework, NELFund is allocated 25% of the levy proceeds, representing a significant opportunity to scale education financing and support millions of Nigerian students in pursuing their academic aspirations. A statement from NELFund emphasizes that timely appropriation, efficient releases, and broad-based sensitization are critical to unlocking the transformation potential of the funding in expanding access to affordable education loans for Nigerian students. NELFund reaffirms its unwavering commitment to accountability, transparency, and responsible fund management, assuring all stakeholders that every naira allocated will be directed towards broadening access to education and strengthening Nigeria's human capital development. Also, the Nigerian National Orientation Agency NOA Abia State has commenced sensitization campaign on the needs for students in tertiary institutions in the state to access the federal government's Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NELFund. Addressing large congregation at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, Umuobia, in Umuahia South local government area of the state, the zonal director of the agency Southeast Zone, Mrs. Regina Roja, said the loan was part of federal government's effort to assist students in higher institutions of learning to ease their financial burdens. Mrs. Roja also said that government has banned the ugly incident of signing out extreme practices being witnessed among students in tertiary institutions and secondary schools in the country, where female and male students expose their private bodies for sign-out practices, describing it as an evil act. She called on management of schools in the state to stop graduation ceremonies being done for pupils in primary and nursery school levels, stating that the activity is not necessary as the pupils were still underage for such. She urged the people to join hands with government in the fight against insecurity and crimes by reporting any suspicious acts or movement around the areas to security agencies. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, has hailed the sentencing of Ansari commander Mahmoud Usman to 15 years in prison. A statement by the Special Assistant Media to the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Shegun Tomori, describes the ruling as a decisive victory in Nigeria's fight against illegal mining. The statement assures that his ministry will closely monitor the pending terrorism cases against Ansari commanders and emphasizes that lessons learned from the trial will strengthen regulatory capacity to tackle mining-related crimes. He commended the Directorate of State Security Services for its intelligence gathering and arrests that paves the way for justice and pledges stronger interagency collaboration to intensify surveillance and flush out illegal miners. Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Dangote refined and iodized salts. In every kitchen across Nigeria, something special is happening, not just in the pots and pans, but in the quiet moments between stirring and seasoning. Dangote salt doesn't just add tasty or pepper soup or jollof rice. It makes the moments around them even more meaningful. Because when your salt is Dangote, refined and iodized, you're free to focus on what really matters: the stories, the laughter, and the laugh shared. Dangote refined and iodized salt, giving you one less thing to worry about.
Welcome to a place where the earth hums with the promise of tomorrow. Beneath its soil lies a treasure, Africa's largest gas reserves. The new Imo is on the rise. Here, the past and the future dance. Nollywood stars are born from its soil, their stories echoing in the hearts of millions. Oguta Lake whispers secrets of nature's beauty, while the Orashi power plant rises a beacon of industrial hope. Under the visionary leadership of Governor Hope Uzodinma, Imo State is being
been transformed. Security has been reclaimed. Digital skills are woven into the fabric of its youth. And governance has become a conversation where the people are heard and action follows. This is not just a state. It is a promise of growth, of innovation, of a future built on the strength of its people. A new Imo is on the rise. Imo State, the heartland state. Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
As part of efforts to ensure that the programs and policies of government on universal basic education UBE are properly disseminated for the benefits of Nigerians, public relations officers from the 36 state universal basic education boards, SUBEB, have converged on Abuja to strategize on achieving the goal. Declaring open the two-day training, the Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, Hajia Aisha Garba, said the Commission was implementing articulated programs geared towards transforming the basic education subsector. Hajia Aisha, represented by the Deputy Executive Secretary Technical, Mr. Razak Akiyemi, who emphasized the need to also equip its image makers with appropriate information to ensure the attainment of the desired objectives, urged the participants to brainstorm and share ideas for the success of the UBE programs at the state level.
We are here to ensure that we strengthen them and ensure that they do and they perform and they deliver professionally, optimally, and to the benefits of the basic education for that child outside there. We know that basic education has been faced with a lot of challenge, and the person that is here are doing a lot of reforms. Part of our reforms is strengthening the communication aspect.
The chairman, Forum of Public Relations Officers, SUBEBs, Mr. Richard Jonah, expressed optimism that the training would build the image makers' capacities for effective service delivery.
This training is very apt to up our skills in carrying out our functions, and we welcome it. You can see the number of states represented. It shows that even the state understands the significance of this.
The workshop, which is the first under the present management of UBEC since the nomenclature of the Public Relations Unit was changed to Corporate Communications Department, was attended by heads of public relations in SUBEBs from across the country. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, has expressed worry over the delay in the implementation of local government autonomy over 1 year after the Supreme Court ruling. The union also called for the intervention of the federal government on the matter to enable the third tier of government provide dividends of democracy to the people. In this report, Adeni Bakare takes a look at the potential benefits of local government autonomy and the implication of non-compliance with the ruling of the Apex Court.
The Supreme Court judgment on July 11, 2024 granted financial autonomy to the 774 local government councils and recognized them as the third tier of government to enhance grassroots development, financial prudence, improve service delivery, and reduce political interference. Since the declaration of the Supreme Court judgment in favor of the local governments, some state governments have refused to recognize the autonomy of the local government authorities. Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution as amended recognizes full financial autonomy of local government councils. The President General of the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, Comrade Aliyu Kankara, is of the opinion that full autonomy would facilitate service delivery and development at the grassroots.
The next attitude to the President and congratulations for the implementation of the local government autonomy in Nigeria as delivered by the Supreme Court judgment. Local government systems will enable better service delivery accountability at the community level.
Some of the members of NOLGE raised issues bordering on state governments controlling funds meant for the local government as they gave the verdict of the Supreme Court.
The allocations of local government go to the joint account. The governors should also allow full autonomy in local government administration.
When the executive is still controlling the activities and affairs of local government, they have even refused to comply with the Supreme Court judgment.
Let them give us administrative progress in the local government level. We are financially shortchanged.
The Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Chief Lateef Fagbemi, described the Supreme Court judgment as an emancipation for the local government to develop their domain and that the verdict should take immediate effect.
That the local government officials will look at it as an opportunity to develop their various local government. The ball is in the court of the governors. But the judgment is clear as to what they should do, as to what consequences will attach to failure or refusal to follow the judgment of the Supreme Court, which takes immediate effect.
Stakeholders are calling on the state governors to respect the Supreme Court judgment which declared the practice of the state governors holding local government funds illegal and unconstitutional in Abuja. Adeniyi Bakari, Radio Nigeria.
For democracy to be sustained in Nigeria, factors such as rule of law, free speech, respect for human rights and inclusive governance must be upheld to give every citizen a sense of belonging in the political affairs of the country. This was the position of some political affairs analysts in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, while reflecting on the importance of the United Nations International Day of Democracy. Collins Barawi, who interacted with the political affairs analyst, completes the report.
The democratic system of government is geared towards encouraging citizens' participation in governance and ensuring that their welfare is adequately taken care of. To realize this purpose, the United Nations Organization set aside September 15 every year as International Democracy Day to review the status of democracy globally. In Nigeria, some analysts have the view that in spite of attaining 26 years of uninterrupted democracy, the basic principles on which the system thrives are still lacking in our society. One of the analysts, Dr. Emmanuel Onyeka, said democracy in Nigeria is at lowest ebb with a faulty electoral system, while the legislative and judicial arms of government are subservient to the executive.
One major dividend of democracy is freedom, rule of law, and then allowing the institutions operate without interference by any superior units. In Nigeria, we have not seen so much of institutional strength, freedom of individuals and members of the society, populace participation in government.
Chief Keeper Barano noted that the performance of the judiciary and the electoral umpire, which are strong pillars of democracy in any given society, is not encouraging.
We are not yet there. Our electoral system is not transparent. But the judiciary as an independent body is supposed to check any flaws in the electoral system. But today, you can see what is happening in Nigeria. Because they say if you are aggrieved, go to court. Because they know what awaits you in that court.
Chairman of Social Democratic Party in Rivers State, Mr. Soma Osaru, said the economic situation in the country tends to portray democracy as a system of government that is less concerned about the welfare of the people.
When people are hungry, they become angry. When you can't buy fuel, you know the implication. So all these issues are inappropriate for defining democracy. And the adverse effect is that it will tend to create a lot of fears, insecurity, and tension.
The political analysts identified rule of law, respect for human rights, independent judicial system, and an unbiased electoral umpire as crucial for democracy to thrive in the country. The theme for the 2025 International Day of Democracy is Voice to Action. In Port Harcourt, Collins Barawi, Radio Nigeria.
Still on democracy, some women have called on the government to give more opportunities to women in governance. They made a call in Abuja on the occasion of International Democracy Day with the theme Achieving Gender Equality, Action by Action. They emphasized that allowing more women contribute in governance, it will bring about positive development to the country.
What we are asking for, let there be fairness in distribution of positions, in appointments, in all the spheres of governance, because you cannot clap alone with one hand. So once I use both hands, you can see the sound that it makes if we are able to use both the male and the female gender to run our government. They should also give you the opportunity to be at the table where issues that concerns you are being discussed.
Many women are capable to be in certain position but do not find that possible, maybe because they thought that the culture, the side of the continent would not allow that. So I think we need more awareness in that area. It's possible for us in Nigeria to have a female president.
As far as Nigeria is concerned, it's a good thing that we have gender equality. It seems as if women have been silent all round. I'm of the opinion that women should be elevated in all ramifications.
They encouraged more women to be involved in politics to ensure even playing fields and foster fairness in the field.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Share 'em, Naija.
Chairman, Nigeria, we are rebuilding the nation. Rebuilding As the sun is rising, our hope keeps rising. Our soul is changing, making progress, moving forward. Every day by day, things get better. Opportunities they walk through. Hope no go stop. Chairman Nigeria, keeping hope alive. Rock better Nigeria. Defending our dreams, flying our flags, keeping hope alive. We are winning. Chairman Nigeria, we are rebuilding.
Renewing hopes, rebuilding Nigeria. Powered by Citizen Connect Initiative.
The National Directorate of Employment, NDE, was established in 1987 to address unemployment in the country. 38 years down the line, how has the agency carried out its mandate of designing and implementing programs to tackle unemployment? The Director General of the NDE, Mr. Silas Agara, gives insight on Eagle Square, the Radio Nigeria Public Accountability Program, this Monday at 7:30 in the evening with Teso Zambi into this important topic.
Our mandate is to train, having them the background. Again, we try to go beyond that, where we have voluntary provision to ensure that we give them certain startup capital where it will enable them to start a decent life.
Join the conversation on Radio Nigeria Network Service this Monday at 7:30 in the evening on Eagle Square, where only the truth is good enough.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Justice Musa Liman of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has declined hearing of a motion filed by Nnamdi Kanu seeking an order transferring him from the custody of Department of State Service DSS to National Hospital in Abuja for urgent medical attention. The judge declined the hearing on the grounds that his fiat to seat of vacation judge ends today and therefore lacked jurisdiction to open such a new matter for hearing. Justice Liman instead ordered that the case file be returned to the registry for Chief Judge to reassign it to another judge. Justice Liman said that he would make recommendations to the Chief Judge for the speedy hearing of the motion since health of the applicant was involved. Counsel to the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Uchenna Njoku, therefore applied for an adjournment to enable him respond to the counter affidavit and in view of the fact that the vacation of the judge had come to an end. The Youth Assembly of Nigeria, YAN, has expressed commitment to support government effort in the fight against insecurity through capacity building programs and initiatives. The National Speaker, Mr. Famuyiwa Oluwasegun, stated this during the Northwest Youth Security Peace Summit in Kaduna with the theme Building a Secure Northwest, Strengthening Civil-Military Cooperation for Sustainable Unity and Peace. Daniel Kalmarks reports.
The summit brought together youth leaders, security experts, and political stakeholders from across the country to discuss the vital roles of young people in combating insecurity and promoting national development. The national speaker explained that the security summit was a platform to raise awareness and engage youth on viable initiatives such as entrepreneurship, capacity building, and the promotion of good morals to drive inclusive growth.
The government has done a lot. Today, this Kaduna Abuja road, you can follow that road freely. You can follow the Mungwari road. So it is time for all the youth to come out to see how we can complement the effort of the government.
Delivering the keynote address, Daniel Amos, member representing Jama Sanga Federal Constituency of Kaduna State at the National Assembly, underscored the transformative power of education in tackling insecurity and societal vices. Represented by the senior legislative aide to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Bamas Bako, Amos encouraged youth to embrace hard work, education, and reject violence. Young Peace Ambassador Mohammed Kelani described the youth as future leaders and highlighted the importance of self-determination. Kelani also called for accountable leadership that transforms Nigeria's vast resources into tangible development.
This event is a great one. We are sensitizing the Nigerian youth to look at their destinies in their own hands. We normally call them the leaders of tomorrow. We should show them no conflict, no armed robbery, no theft.
The historic event featured the inauguration of the Yan Kaduna State chapter and the presentation of awards to notable individuals. In Kaduna, Daniel Kalmax, Radio Nigeria.
And on the foreign scene, South Korean government says it is investigating potential human rights violation during the raid and detention of Korean workers by U.S. authorities. South Korea has expressed a strong regret to the U.S. and has officially asked that its citizens' rights and interests are not infringed during law enforcement proceedings. More than 300 South Korean workers returned home after being held for a week following a raid at an electric vehicle battery plant in Georgia, United States. The raid has raised tensions between the U.S. and South Korea, where many of those detained were from, with President Lee Jae-myung warning that it will discourage foreign investment into the U.S. South Korean trade unions have called on Trump to issue an apology letter. And for sports update, world record holder Tobi Amusan gets Nigeria's first medal at the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo. Joy Ezefula has details.
Nigerian star athlete Tobi Amusan stormed to a silver for Nigeria in the final of the women's 100 meters hurdles event, clocking a time of 12.29 seconds at the ongoing World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Gitagi Gamboji got gold in a time of 12.24 seconds, while Grace Stark of the US got the bronze in 12.34 seconds. Also, compatriot Ezekiel Nathaniel scaled to the semi-final of the men's 400 meters hurdles in a time of 48.37 seconds. Earlier, Tanzanian Alfonso Felix won the men's marathon, which was the first event of day 3 of the World Athletics Championships. The same event he clinched a gold medal in at the African Military Games in Abuja in November 2024. And away from athletics, the 8 teams competing in the 2025 Nigeria Basketball Federation NBBF National Women's Basketball League are expected in Lagos today ahead of the tournament's kickoff tomorrow. The teams, which are divided into 2 conferences, have qualified for the final 8 competition based on their performances in the Atlantic and Savannah conferences. The participating teams are defending champions MFM Basketball Club of Lagos, former champions First Bank Basketball, Dolphins of Port Harcourt, and Bayelsa Blue Whales. Others are Abuja-based Titans Basketball Club, Air Warriors, Royal Aces, and Nigerian Customs. These top teams will battle it out for the national title at the basketball courts of the National Stadium Surulere, Lagos from September 16 to 20, 2025. And that's an update in sports. I am Joy Ezefula.
And over now to commentary, which is on special media salary for journalists. It is written by Joshua Adams of our news directorate.
The media landscape is constantly evolving, and with it comes the pressing need to address the financial realities faced by journalists and media professionals. The hardship, and in some cases death, faced by Nigerian journalists serve as a poignant reminder of the challenges and sacrifices that those in the media industry often endure. This distressing scenario not only highlights the personal toll that a career in journalism can take, but also underscores the urgent need for a special media salary that reflects the unique demands and risks associated with the profession. Journalists are known for their dedication to informing the public and commitment to journalistic integrity. This exemplifies the vital role that the media plays in the society, particularly in times of crisis and change. However, the harsh truth is that many journalists face financial instability, inadequate compensation, and a lack of support from their employers. This situation is not just a personal tragedy. It is a systemic issue that affects the quality of journalism and the ability of the media organizations to attract and retain talented professionals. The need for a special media salary arises from several factors. First, Journalism is often a high-stress profession that requires long hours, tight deadlines, and the ability to navigate complex and sometimes dangerous situations. Journalists frequently work in challenging environments, whether covering conflict zones, political unrest, or public health crisis. The emotional and physical toll of such work can be significant, and it is essential that compensation reflects these realities. Moreover, the financial pressures facing media organizations have led to an embargo on employment for many years, leading to few staff and resources, which in turn affects the quality of reporting. Many journalists are overworked and underpaid, leading to burnout and a decline in the overall standard of journalism. A special media salary could help to alleviate some of these pressures, ensuring that journalists are fairly compensated for their work and can continue to provide the public with accurate and timely information. Additionally, the rise of digital media has transformed the industry, often resulting in a race to the bottom in terms of pay and job security. As traditional media outlets struggle to adapt, many journalists find themselves in precarious positions, with freelance work becoming more common but often less stable. A special media salary could help to establish a baseline of compensation that recognizes the essential role of journalists in a democratic society. It is imperative that journalists advocate a special media salary that acknowledges the unique challenges faced by media workers and ensures that they are compensated fairly for their vital work. This is not just about financial compensation. It is about valuing the essential role that journalism plays in our society and ensuring that those who dedicate their lives to this important work are given the respect and support they deserve.
Olayemi Daniel with a commentary on special media salary for journalists, as written by Joshua Adams. Most parts of the northern region are experiencing isolated thunderstorms with moderate rains at temperature range of 31 to 34 degrees Celsius. States in the central region are witnessing thunderstorms with moderate rain within the temperature of 21 and 30 degrees Celsius, with prospects of flooding over parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Niger, Kogi and Kwara states, the southern states of Oyo, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom experiencing light to moderate rain with temperature range of 26 to 29 degrees Celsius. To end the news, here's the recap of the major stories. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NALFund, has called for stronger support and collaboration with the National Assembly to ensure that its 25% allocation is fully realized and effectively deployed. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, has expressed a worry about the delay in the implementation of local government autonomy over 1 year after the Supreme Court ruling. The Federal High Court, Abuja, has declined hearing of a motion filed by Nnamdi Kanu seeking transfer from DSS to hospital. And we also reported that South Korea has to probe potential human rights abusers in U.S. raid. That's the news edited by Umaike and the production team. I am David Umur, still on the network service of Radio Nigeria.
Kúrìrì omilẹ̀ títí kò ṣe bá figagbága. Rédíò Amuludun 99.1 FM Moniya Ibadan, òdòdó orí ẹ̀ tó ń tàn yíndínyíndín ló fi tàwọn yọ. Fílẹ̀ má gbẹ́kùn bẹ̀.
ìrìn àbápọ̀ níbẹ̀ ìjọsìn láti orílẹ̀-èdè ní Àbújá ní ẹgbẹ́ tán láti ìkànnì Amuludun 99.1 FM Moniya ní ìlú Ìbàdàn nígbà tí aago 4 àbọ̀ ti lọ́dọ̀ tí wá ń bí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́ ìpolówó ọjà.
Ẹni tó wà láyé ṣùgbọ́n tí ò lálàáfíà tó péye ó ń pè fún ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ gbogbo èèyàn ká gbárùkù tí kó lè bá àráyé gbé kó ráyé ṣe. Ìdí ni pé oore tó gbéwọ̀n jù ní ká gbẹ̀mí ẹni là. Ìbáṣepọ̀ bá a ṣe ń péjú sìnkú là ń péjọ ṣètọ́jú aláìsàn. Òǹbá mọ̀ ti kú ó ṣeé ṣe kó mọ̀ tí ìrẹ̀wàlẹ̀ àṣà ẹ̀yìn ẹlẹ́yinjú àánú tọ́lọ́run fi burújí dá lọ́lá lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ lọ́gbàlọ́gbà olóṣèlú tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ ọmọnìyàn dénú àti gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà lápapọ̀ ẹ dákun ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má káwọn gbéra wò wá ràn lórí àìlera Gabriel Ọ̀nàfúrúmẹ̀ òṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì táwọn onímọ̀ ìṣègùn òyìnbó sọ nínú ìwádìí wọn wípé ó ní àìsàn jẹjẹrẹ ilé ìtọ̀.
Orúkọ mi ni Gabriel Ọ̀nàfúrúmẹ̀ mo jẹ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà àìsàn kan wá rọ́lù mi tí